Smart Studios.
Hello, my name is Kevin Surratt Sr. Everything you're about to hear is my perspective and my opinion on my life and journey. This is Sessions with Surratt.
Only on UrbanSmartNetwork.com.
On the show, Tamar expressed that Tawanda didn't care about her. And that seems to be like this theme. And I bring that up because it seems to be this ongoing theme that you see. I've witnessed it watching the shows when Tracy was on and the interactions between her and Tawanda. Would you say that Tracy felt that way about Tawanda or any of the other sisters, or was that a constant theme for her, feeling like nobody cared about her? What was her position?
Oh, yeah, it was constant. From the beginning, Tracy would feel sort of outcast, especially when she didn't do things the way that they wanted her to do it. I mean, Tracy had a rebel spirit, you know what I mean? So you had to learn how to navigate through that stuff. Tracy was the kind when she was younger, she'd go on the roof of the house and just sit up there and just chill. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
She had a rebel spirit, man. And personally, I really can't think of a time in our relationship where Tracy had consistent support from that spectrum of things, except for when she got sick.
Wow.
I heard him talk about she went on a European tour and, they advocated for it. Yeah, it definitely happened. But something happened on that tour, too. So when she came home, she wasn't right.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And she was upset about some things and the way things were, I guess, the way things played out. She didn't get back. That was 97. So if you think about it, she didn't really get back on that platform again until the Braxtons came back on. So you're talking about 97.
Wow. So there was something huge that was very impacting.
Yeah.
Took place.
On top of that, we moved to Georgia under the, in 2002. We moved to Georgia with the impression that, we sell our house and a house was going to be gifted to us. And got down there and it was a total opposite. Oh, and also it was going to be support. Because, I know a lot of people in our area, jobs, I've always had the opportunity to get a job and, people always, looked out for us, So I was told, hey, it's the same way down here, you're good. It's what happened. Got down there, it was the total opposite. And then on top of that, people don't know this. The house we moved into, it was one of the family members' house, put us out. First time I said this.
Wow.
So I had to find a job back up here in D.C. and find a house down there. Luckily, it was one in the neighborhood we got. And we had to really work our way back up here, and it took 2 years.
So in that 2 years, were you just up here? How were you guys
Back
working?
and forth. I was
Wow.
back and forth.
That's a long drive.
So they talk about, infidelity and things of that nature. Yeah, we both went through infidelity. And that was one of the
That was during that time.
Yeah, it started. And, we had our stuff that we were able to work through together. But there were things that, I said, that drove some of the stuff. Like when we went down there, Tracy, she still didn't have the support because they all went to Vegas.
Wait a minute. They had you move to Georgia.
Yeah.
And then they all moved
to Vegas.
They didn't say, hey, you guys, let's...
Yeah, like that show, like the movie.
Wasn't...
Like when the movie came on and they showed Tracy was in Vegas. Tracy wasn't in Vegas. Tracy, she didn't...
Did she feel abandoned?
She did again. So it stirred that right back up.
Right. So it's like every time you think that every time she thought maybe that everything was going to be normal, was get back to this good place, she found herself being abandoned, not just her, but her family.
Yeah.
Would that be accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the questions that are out there, and this is kind of circling back, to Kevin, and I just want to make sure that I get this question out because this is something that the viewers wanted to know.
Okay.
In the midst of all these things going on, it says everybody wants to know, where is his father, Kevin Surratt?
Where am I at on the show?
Where are you at for him?
Before I got here today, I just got off the phone. So, I mean, I think there were periods of times when I would have to give him space because, Kevin and I have had some valleys and peaks. And when you grieve, you go through stuff.
Right, of course.
So I would have to sometimes, give Kevin a little, not like a day or two, maybe a day. Just, all right, go ahead and, work through that. And I'll text him instead of calling or things of that nature or FaceTiming. Remember, Kevin is on a home monitoring box. And, he really been going through some stuff.
Right.
And I consider that.
So you've been there.
Well, that's my son. I'm not going nowhere with any of my kids.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so, some people will say, well, you're not there in a way that they want you to be there. I'm not a yes man. You know what I'm saying? So one thing I'm not going to do is just succumb. And I think this is a part of why, people have concerns with me. I'm not a yes man. I'm not going to just succumb to a situation because you think it's the best scenario. No, if it don't make sense to me, I'm not going to co-sign to it.
Well, and you know your child.
And I know my child. There's other people that's coming into his life that don't even know him. Yeah, let me address this real fast.
Okay.
The name Scratchy. That was a name that he got when he was a baby, when he first started talking. And, one of the sisters definitely, will call him Scratchy. But it hasn't been consistent. And it probably took place before her kids were born. And that's why they didn't know his name.
Right.
Because it wasn't consistent. And he had a scratchy voice. You know what I'm saying? So I get that's what it, but it just wasn't a consistent thing. I think it's taking place because they don't want to call him Kevin.
Oh.
That's how the stuff manifests, in these type of situations. I'm not going to say that name, Kevin. But remember, there are 3 Kevins.
Wow. That's
Tracy. That was Tracy's choice.
That's powerful. And that's what I was getting ready to say,
And like she chose to name her son. Well, she named him because she was told not to use that last name no more. And I was going to leave it like that.
Wow.
So me and Tracy did talk. So,
of course. I mean,
so people,
seems right.
I don't want to stir nothing up because I don't want no more lies and deception to come out. So I'm trying to be real careful on how I govern myself in this. I don't want to get into the he said, she said. I'm not doing that, man. I'm not no little kid. So, and I'm going to say this loud and clear to the public. Yes, me and my wife went through a lot in our marriage. A hell of a whole lot. And we did it until death did us part. So I don't want to hear none of that. I'm not going to get into those little, tit for tat shit and all that. I'm not doing that.
Right.
I'm a grown man. I ain't no little boy or no girl, none of that. So that's just where I'm at.
Yes, understood. So one of the questions that came up, do you believe that there are that the family is hiding some dark secrets? Or you think there's some things that are kind of underlining that they don't allude to?
I know it. See, okay. Again, myself and Tracy had our stuff.
Yes.
So what makes you think nobody else had their stuff?
Good point.
And I know my wife, I hear a lot of people say this, and I'm probably repeating myself. Tracy said. Always remember this. Tracy said a lot to me, and I spent more time with her than anybody on this earth. So you can say all this stuff, and you can drive all this stuff. Again, I don't want to get into that. But if you poke the bear, I mean, we all got stuff.
For sure.
We all have stuff.
For sure.
So
Okay. Next question. How do you feel about the family airing the clips of your wife and her progressed state of illness?
I hate it.
Would she have wanted that?
Fuck no, and I hate it. I fucking hate it. And I would have never showed it like that. I got pictures of her in her last viewing, and that's the only thing that would have took place. And if I would have known that was the case in my house, I would have never ever went for that. And I hate it. I hate it. And she had to get seen like that, and she would have never wanted that. And I'm so angry about that, and I'm asking God every day to help me with it. And that's the manipulation I'm talking about. When those hummingbirds was initially put on her back, she tried to tell them the story of why she did it. They fucking laughed at her. And she was hurt because she called me immediately. And she was hurt. She was like, I'm trying to tell them, why I did it, because it's a beautiful story. When you look at those hummingbirds and what she came up, man, I hate it, man, that they showed it like that, man. I just pray that the viewers and the people just won't entertain that and it'll just go away.
Right.
I hate it.
So what other support systems did you have, outside the family dynamic? And how have they played a role in your mental health, in your system of support for you after Tracy passing?
I'm so thankful that myself and Tracy was able to pour into other people, other families, because they have come out and they've been like nonstop. Tracy had a habit of meeting people. So she, there's a lot of people. I think of one person that was on the show, Dr. King. And Dr. King won't kill me for this, but her and her husband, brothers and sisters, they've been like a true brother and sister to me, hands down. The kids, everything, the Kings, the Birds, the Walkers, my Masonic entities, my bike club, it's so many people, man. I can just go on and on and on. The Chandlers, they was there. There's people that worked at the hospital, I send big love, big shout outs to, because, they'd be there for myself and Tracy while we were at the hospital. And they'd just come in and just, make sure we was good. Because remember at that time, COVID was in rare form.
Right.
So the people, I had family members that worked there. I had people that, could navigate through some of the stuff and just supported us on so many levels, man. I just can't describe it. And I've always had it in my life as primarily an only child growing up. But, my brother, his wife, oh man, I can just go on and on of the people that just open up their arms to me, my son, and, my mother. I can just go on and on. My sisters. Now, I say I'm only child, but I got 14 stepsisters. And man, when I say they just rang out like crazy, I mean, one day they got me a gift card and they had come over the house and they didn't come in but briefly to say hi to Tracy. But my in-laws didn't even know I had these sisters, and they they came and they bought me a gift card. We had a nail salon downstairs, and I got a Manny and Petty that day just to help me go through.
Yeah.
So there was just so many things that people would do. My motorcycle club, they came by one day. It was probably about 20 to 30 of them. And they rode around the harbor. They stopped in front of our condo window, the balcony, and they just revved up the bikes for Tracy.
Wow.
And she saw it. My in-laws saw it, and they was like, wow. And my church, God forgive me, my church, Bishop, so many people, I can go on and on and on, and it hasn't stopped.
Yeah, and that's important. That's important for you and Kevin moving forward to have that kind of support.
Yes.
So shouts out to all of them who have stepped up and shown you the support where, it could have otherwise been sitting alone, and they didn't allow that to happen.
Not at all.
Yeah. So that's really awesome, and we have to give them a shout out.
That's right.
It was rumored that someone in the family said that you put into Tracy's head that she was a wannabe sister. And I want to make sure that you have an opportunity to address that, because I'm just going to state that clearly from watching the shows, she states many times how she, you can see how she felt excluded, like she wasn't a part. There was one show where she said that, I'm not your sister, I'm your coworker. So what is your response to that?
And sister cousin.
Sister cousin, yes.
So first and foremost, I never knew that was stated. I never knew that someone said that my wife or I said something stupid like that. First of all, I would never, make her feel like that, because I always wanted her to have what she called her rights. And she said that her rights were taken from her. She drove that often. Secondly, my wife came home and told me, because I hadn't seen the show at that point, and she said she saw it, that someone, and I ain't going to say the person, because again, I don't want to stir that up, someone instructed the producers to put that up. And they went with it. She went off. And rightfully so. I would never in my life instruct her to say, be the wannabe. Who says that? What stupid individual will want to, drive something like that from somebody who's been so heartbroken? And I saw it more than anybody. So any ignorant person that said I drove something like that, kick rocks, man. Real talk. Because, the love I had for her and what we went through, I always try to give her empowerment and uplifting to the best of my ability. I ain't gonna sit up there and say it was at the levels of what some would expect, but I gave it to the best of my ability because I knew we was raising a child. Right. So ain't no way I would say, be a wannabe, and then our son see that on TV. Fuck out of here.
Kevin, I just want to say thank you for sitting down with me and answering some of these questions that the fans out there have, and address some of the things that have been going on all over the social media network. Yeah. I want to say publicly that you have carried yourself honorably, at least in my eyes, and most of the public, in the public's eye as well. Not becoming engaged in the tit for tat and just trying to maintain your stand. And for that, I'm grateful, because you are really presenting a forthright example of what a person should be in the midst of this kind of chaos. Real courage comes from being accountable for your actions.
Yes.
And exposing your own issues to not only heal yourself, but others. And you've been very transparent and forthcoming with, some of your challenges and, the highs, the good things that happen, without slandering others. And I just want to say on behalf of the public, thank you.
I appreciate that. And I try my best, because I want to stay in character and not get out of character.
Absolutely.
And I thank you for helping me drive this information, as I feel like the people should know. And I'm thankful to be able to do it. So, thank you.
Absolutely.
Help. This is Sessions with Surratt.
Only on UrbanSmartNetwork.com.